Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of the PSD to CSS Online video tutorial series. My name is Sean, and tonight we are going to take a look at how to make a Joomla theme that expands with your content. Now the Joomla theme is a feature we've had for a while, and people have been using it, and I've been getting some complaints from people about it, images not showing up, the textures not showing up, and I basically misread all of them to think that they weren't getting any of the textures, which would mean they installed the theme wrong. And in fact, that's not the case. There actually was a bug, and I found it today. It was pointed out by one of my excellent users, and I fixed the bug. And so now I'm going to do a video tutorial of how to make an expanding theme that will expand with your content on Joomla. I'll do it step by step and show you how it works, and also at the same time prove that the bug's been fixed. So let's get started. So first thing we'll do is look at this fairly straightforward Joomla theme. It's got two sections. It's got the big content section here, and the menu and navigation section over here. Normally it's on the left for Joomla. I put it on the right. Doesn't matter where you put it. It's kind of one of the neat parts about using PSD to CSS Online. You can put your content anywhere you want. As always, for PSD to CSS Online, the trick is to use layers when you build your design and name the layers appropriately to get special code written by the code generator. So the special layers we have in this one are left_Joomla. As I mentioned, it's on the right side. This is where our navigation and menu system will be. It won't be a big gray box. The code generator will read this left_Joomla and put all the right PHP in there to let Joomla draw the nav in there, the navigation. The next layer is content_Joomla_relative. That's the big content start area over here for Joomla. _relative is important. In a couple of these layers, we're going to see _relative, and that's very important. You have to put those in. That's because we're going to make an expanding theme. The relative is required for that. We have middle background relative, which is another section here that the content is inside of. The Joomla content is inside of the middle background relative. Background is important here as well because the texture needs to be a background texture. We also have bottom relative, which has inside it the footer for Joomla, footer Joomla. And then another very, very important layer that's required for this expanding business to work. Expanding, by the way, works for Joomla or Drupal or WordPress or just straight up HTML files. It's always the same technique. You've got to use these relative layers and the background layer for middle, and this container layer. This is a large container layer that both the bottom and the middle fit inside of. And then inside this middle is the content, inside the bottom is the footer, and inside the container, the empty container, are all of those. So you can see there's the big empty container. So this PSD file is available for you to download, so you can study how these work out. But you can watch the video over and over and see how it works. We'll right now save this. Save it. And then we will go to PSD to CSS Online and upload it and convert it. So for some reason this Friday night my website's really busy. A lot of people are using it, so it might take a minute or two here. If you're trying to use the site while a lot of other people are, it does get a little slower. But right now the code generator is taking apart that Photoshop file and interpreting all the layers and making PNG and JPEG images and taking the instructions in those layer names, the _relative, the _Joomla, all the underscore word parts of those titles, those layer names, and generating the appropriate code to make this into a proper Joomla theme. And there we go, it finished. So we'll download the zip file. This will just save it right to my hard drive, right to my desktop. There it is, right there. And so I already have a version of Joomla running on this computer. This is the admin for it. This is the standard Joomla installation with the standard Joomla data already in it. And you can see that the normal themes, the standard themes are there. So what we'll do is go to Extensions, Install, Uninstall, and Upload Package File. We will choose the PSD to CSS.zip file. We don't even have to open it. It'll work just as a zip file that comes right straight from PSD to CSS Online. Upload and install. Install template success. Now when we go visit the template manager, sure enough there's a PSD to CSS Online theme available. We'll just choose it and make it the default. And when we come back here and reload, there's our theme that we just drew and saved and had converted. Now the thing is, you can see that the content's very long, and we have a gap in the background there, and we have some overlapping ugliness here, and we're going to make some very, very minor changes to the code that was generated by hand to make this expanding theme business work. And I'm going to show you exactly what you have to do that right now. So I like to use Vim for my editor. You can certainly use whatever text editor you'd like. Inside of the Joomla install, my Joomla install is called J. You go to Themes. No, you don't. You go to C-O-J. I thought it was Themes. Templates. Sorry. Templates. PSD to CSS. And then CSS. And PSD to CSS.css. So this is the So this is the PSD to CSS file. The comments that are generated by PSD to CSS are all the layer names in Photoshop. So we will look for all the relative layers. Relative. The first one is bottom underscore relative. We're only going to have to make 3 edits to this file. The first one we find is the CSS definition for bottom relative. And for bottom, what we need to do is remove the line that defines the top. Okay, just do that. For the next relative is middle relative, and what we need to remove from here is remove the height, the line that defines the height for the middle. And then the last one is content Joomla relative, and what we need to do here, we have an option. We can either remove the height, which is fine, but it'll make, for small amounts of content, it'll make a very short page, so that doesn't look necessarily very good. So a good thing to do is turn this into min height instead. Rather than remove it, we can turn it to min height. And that's it. Once those are all 3 done, we can revisit our page, and now we have a nice, clean, expanding theme that no matter how long Joomla puts, how large, how much, or how little content Joomla puts in there for us, we have our theme does exactly what we'd expect. We can even see the Joomla footer here at the bottom. Let's choose some other pages. There's a much shorter one. You can see the footer is at the bottom. You can see the theme did exactly what we want. One of these is really short. Let's see. Oop, that's a much longer one. But you can see the theme got longer, just as we'd expect. Here's one where the content is a little shorter, but because we used min height, we got the minimum height. Otherwise, the page would have been too short. And of course, the footer we can see. And basically, the whole thing, it just works. Now Joomla works fine, and our theme expands with it just like we'd expect. So that's that. From here, I would use Firebug to figure out where in the CSS some of these colors and link colors and things are defined, and customize those. And beyond that, of course, there's a million things you can do with Joomla about what kind of content to put in it. And but your theme works. Took only a few minutes and some very minor edits to get it to expand with the content, and that's all you need. Thanks.